Hey guys, out here in the garage, it's trashed. It's the Gorilla Studio, or soon to be. I'm basically going through a lot of cleaning, digging into stuff that probably hasn't seen daylight for a couple of years, trying to figure out how to make it work and get rid of stuff. I'd still keep, the tools and stuff I've invested in and all that jazz for however many years, 30, 40 years. So, so I'm up to my eyeballs. But, I wanted to show a couple of people have asked about this ring, like what the purpose is. So basically it's an uppercut ring. But what I like about it for our purposes is I can also use it for elbowing and get like my hammer fists in, vertical elbows, stuff like that, that normally on a heavy bag you kind of chew up your elbows with and stuff. So this gives me an alternative that I can like lay into a little bit. I did have to reinforce how to hold it up because I'm hitting it hard and not just upward but also downward and all these different angles, so it tends to tilt back and forth and eventually it kind of works its way down. In every heavy bag that I've ever hit, this is the hardest area to the softest, so it tends to compress up here, so it's just hard to keep anything up there. It should really just come with Velcro straps. I probably will make some because there's been more than a few times that I've hit the bungee cords. And as far as this actual ring goes, when it's swinging around, it's not too bad, but the way that I strung this was not ideal. It kind of sticks out, but I was trying to wrap my head around the best way to do it. By the time I got over to this one, I feel like I did it more like a traditional shoelace, which worked pretty well, even though it works well, but it was just a little bit more difficult to do. So this one is probably stronger from like they're never gonna rip out or anything like that. And this one probably took twice as long to do, but it's smoother, so it's nicer for hitting. Still chews up your knuckles a little bit, if you can see. I try not to use gloves kind of as much as possible and work on my alignment for you guys who are fighters out there. Try not to use wrist supports all the time. I do use them occasionally. I'll use MMA gloves and things like that. But I really want to work on my power in a way that's native, natural, works in the street. I don't want to work on all the time with gloves and wraps and things like that because I'm not going to have those in the street. So I need to build up some skin that's thick and good. You can see here, this one's starting to kind of peel off, so I'm going to take it a little bit lighter on this one. It's not peeled, it's not open, so it's going to be fine in a couple of, probably a day. Probably tomorrow I could hit the bag again. But I want to keep it that way. I don't want to open it up. If you do hit a heavy bag and you open it up, skin your knuckles, you can see some of these marks. One of the things you can do is, I've seen really, really amazing results, and some people swear by Vaseline. I haven't used it that way, so I don't know. But I've had several times where I've cut, scraped, rubbed my knuckles, whatever the hell you want to say, raw on any kind of a heavy bag or whatever. And I've tried letting it heal by air. It always dries out, cracks, and builds a heavy scab, and just, it takes forever to heal, like weeks, at least on me. In contrast, when I've taken like Neosporin and just put on the thinnest coat, 6 times a day, just really thin, putting it on over and over and over, I'm telling you, man, within like 3-4 days, it is skinning over already. Never gets that big, thick scab on it. It has to be thin, and you got to do it like, I like literally as soon as it's dry or looks dry or I think it might be dry, I put Neosporin back on it. And heals super fast, super fast. So that's a good thing to do. You're gonna, if you're hitting heavy bags like I am, this one is heavy. This one is about 135 pounds. I did have it weighed, but then I took out some of that and filled it with something else. So it's a little bit lighter. Originally it was about 137. I was actually concerned about my ceiling, even though I have it into two 2x6s. I wasn't sure if, when I start hitting it, if it's going to hold. Plus I knew I was going to be adding this on it. This is also about 25 pounds, 20 pounds. So anyway, so when you start hitting stuff like this and it starts swinging around, there's a lot of pressure and torque up there, but you also can bruise your knuckles, particularly the spaces in between. You have, blood vessels cruising through there. And so immediately put ice on that crap. Don't wait for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Put ice on it like right away. Again, that's one of those things I've learned, that if you ice it like ASAP and you do it frequently, again, probably I usually do it for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes when I have that bruising. I mean, because it'll swell up quick. So just put it on, stop training for a little bit. Put ice on it, keep ice on it. If you want to wrap it, but also keep ice on it. Put it on frequently throughout the day, at least that first day. By the second, third day, it should already, in my experience anyway, again, be showing signs of healing. By contrast, when I don't do that, that bruising can last for a week and a bit. Might depend on how bad it is. Maybe it's just been a coincidence, but I doubt it. I mean, it seems pretty consistent. So really do the work, put the ice on, do some self-care and all that. Heavy bag hitting is a thing that a lot of people like doing. Make sure you're also practicing your speed of impact, not just power. The things you can do wrong with heavy bag hitting are constantly hitting with power only, right? Because then you end up with these like shots where you take a lot of time to get there, and it's very powerful, and that's cool. You got to know how to do that, but you also sacrifice your speed, right? So be working on your speed. For guys and gals who are in the guerrilla classes, I use your explosive footwork. Start from hey. So a lot of times when I'm out here, what I'm doing is I got to make sure you guys can see me. There's so much crap in this garage. I'm trying to sort through that. I'm trying to put this in a good spot that doesn't give you too much. But, I'll be back here going, hey, right? Practicing my covers while I do this, right? A little bit of footwork, where I'm going from side to side, covering, hitting. Got to be a little bit careful because it'll swing into my motorcycle, so that's why I paused there. But work the way you want to use it. For me, it's not just like I'm using it, for cardio, right? You can use it for fast hitting if you want. I'll try to go over here maybe, right? I change leads, so I practice left forward, right forward. I don't really care to me. I'm still weaker with my left hand hitting, but it's a practice, and you develop it, and it's a hell of a lot better today than it was, 10 years ago. Well, really even a couple years ago. I always practiced equal as a martial artist, but even when I was doing Kali or stick fighting, whatever, Arnis, the 1,000 names for the same thing. You're using a borrowed skill. The left side is borrowing off of the right, so you don't get really the skill you think you get. I've always been a fan of the idea of strong side should do the work. If I'm a sprinter, I don't start off on a weird foot. I start off on the foot that's the best foot for me. So, and I run the race that's best for me, and I always train in a way that's best for me, and that builds my best skills. So even when you're training, you should be, you should have a favorite, in my opinion, if you're strictly talking about self-protection, personal safety, use your strongest stuff. Use it the best you can, develop it the best you can. I have a whole long spiel on that. I'm not going to get into it. I've done it multiple times. I may another day because I think it's worth hearing over and over because people get confused by this. We are in the business of increasing your likelihood of success, the percentages, if you will. And so improving your left side is always a benefit, but what you don't want to do is improve it so much that to be working on it so much that you're neglecting really developing the hell out of your strong side, strong stuff, whatever those skills are. So, you know, like I have some skills that are better with my left foot than they are with my right foot. I have some skills that are better with my right hand than my left hand. I have some skills that are better with my left hand. Use them, build them. Part of the process of study is to figure out what your skills are and then to develop you. It's not about like, you know, oh, I have to do this because so-and-so does this. It's about developing you. You do the best you can do with what you have, and you continue to work it until it's the best it can be. And that's really what all of us are trying to do. And we do it in 1,000 different ways. From a personal safety, personal protection standpoint, we don't have a lot of time. My point is I know that generally speaking, the vast majority of people who come to me are looking for skills they can apply today. So that means I have to be able to teach them skills that are simple, effective, not necessarily easy, but hopefully easy, and that will get it done quickly. So when you're practicing here in these strikes and practicing on any kind of a heavy bag or with mitts or anything like that, you're always going to want to do it the way you actually want to apply it. There is no sense becoming a boxer if you don't plan to actually be a boxer in, you know, self-protection standpoint. So like, again, I'm going to do this straight on here so you can see, but I'm pretty close here, so I got to be careful. But, you know, hey, coming in, right? I'm set up. Do my entry, do my explosive footwork, do my hitting, do whatever, right? Covering up maybe, right? Getting deep, whatever that is. So it's a constant deal of training to do your best with your best.